Okay, here we are. Hello, everyone. Sharon and Shradha are in the house.
Hello.
Hi, Shradha. Good to see you again. Good to see everyone here. This is the eve of the solar eclipse, which in some parts of the United States, at least, we are able. I'm not able to see it this year, but going up through from Texas, I believe, up to, if you're in the U.S., up through New York. So that's exciting for that part of the country.
Yes, it's a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we can't work with the energies of the solar eclipse, because it's a huge deal. These eclipses are a huge deal for the whole planet, actually, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is believed to bring in a lot of energy to the planet, to everybody, and it's going to impact us in both positive and in some not so good ways. Yes.
Yeah, right. It's a good healing experience. Let's say that, because
Yes.
it is so strong energetically, brings things up, right?
Yes.
Which I feel like it's not so good.
Because we don't like the realities, right?
Mhm. Yeah, we don't like the shadow work. And the shadow work isn't fun, that's for sure. Yeah. And so as the sun shadows, or the moon, I'm sorry, the moon shadows the sun, things can seem pretty crazy. It's so greetings, everyone. Again, we are here to help with. Um, if you're going to tune into the energies, I mean, you can't help but feel the effects of it. If if you're sensitive, and even if you're not, you might notice things going on around you that might be a little crazy, or a shift happening. So we're just here today to help with our insights, some of our insights on what we feel that the solar eclipse, with in conjunction with the new moon, can bring into our lives, in our personal lives and as a collective, and also help us during the apex of the eclipse tomorrow. And we have some suggestions on how to easily integrate and help with moving forward through this portal. It's a huge portal. So we'll introduce ourselves. I am Sharon Sananda Kumara, for those who don't know me, and I am very, very honored and grateful to be here, and for you to and to be here with Shradha, my really dear friend, because we're doing some really good work together, and I'm honored to be part of her energy and her presentation on the planet, because she is an amazing healer. Yeah, and I'm here in the northwest part of the country, in the States, and I do have a practice as a psychic medium and a metaphysical teacher channel and new author. Woo-hoo. And yeah, so all that good stuff. And I'm just really feel so blessed. So I'm happy to be here on the planet, not only here, but on the planet at this time.
Yes, yes. And I'm Shradha. I'm a pranic healer, and I'm so excited right now because we are experiencing some amazing times here, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to work with Sharon, and I'm in India, by the way. Yeah, and we are not experiencing solar eclipse, but yeah, we can feel the energies though. So it's an amazing time.
Yeah. So I had a dream this morning about someone was telling me there's going to be a storm tonight. There's a storm tonight, and it's tonight can mean anything in a dream, right? In your experience there. And whenever I usually normally dream about storms, when storms come up, it's an emotional upheaval type of
Mm-hmm.
experience. It's showing me that either those have happened already or they're going to happen. And since it said tonight, which could be, on who knows, in the near future, I don't know. If you work with your dreams, you know that dreams are symbolic, and just because in our dream we hear tonight, it could be any night. But that's what I got. There's going to be a storm tonight, and we need to. And this person was telling me, need to get everyone in. It's going to be a storm tonight, and, and I'm like, especially one person, everyone in my dreams except for my guide that's helping me, I've learned are projections of me, parts of myself, and so my guide was helping me with that. And whatever that means, I don't know yet. Maybe we'll find out. But I know that there's some crazy energies coming, so I feel like it has something to do with that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's share a little bit about, and everyone that's here, feel free to comment, ask questions as as we have our conversation. We're very loosey goosey here, um, and your thoughts on the eclipse and what it might mean for you and what you've experienced so far. And I just want to say that here in the where I live in Oregon, we were in the apex of the eclipse in 2017, which was the first time I had ever been in the apex of an eclipse, and was aware how profound it is to experience that. And I had a really amazing experience during 2017 that blew me wide open with a lot of things. And I just set out my bag. I just got fired from my career job, and it was like a month later because I got canned in July, which gave in my corporate job, and which gave me the opportunity to be able to do my practice full time. So I've been asking for it anyway. But I was there 11 years, and the next month is when we had the solar eclipse, and so much information. I mean, I just had this huge download of information about where we're going and how the feminine is being healed, and there's just so many catalysts happening to help the feminine energy that's been oppressed, repressed, and oppressed for so long. Because the moon eclipsing the sun type of thing, and I'm feeling a lot of that now. And so that was really profound, and I did a channel on that for me. So I would suggest when we're in the apex of it, if you have any time, just sit in the energy and ask for any kind of guidance and things like that, because this one, I believe, or what I'm feeling, is maybe even more profound as the one in 2017, because we're shifting so rapidly.
I agree. Yeah, yeah. And you're so lucky you experienced that, because honestly, personally, I haven't experienced it. I remember one solar eclipse, but that was when I was a kid. That was long time ago. It didn't happen after, like, my in my adulthood. And this one is not visible in India, so I'm not going to experience it. I can feel the energies though, but I'm not able to, like, really experience the solar eclipse. But I
Hmm.
did it when I was a kid. So you're so lucky to get that guidance during the solar eclipse, and you had that insight. Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that's happening with this eclipse as it as it crosses the US, which the US is going through a lot of change. If you live in the US, and
Mm.
even if you don't, you may know that the US is going through a lot right now. And so the eclipse that in 2017 crossed, and I saw this, crossed
Hmm.
across the country like that. Okay, it went up to toward the northwest, and then this one is coming up toward the northeast. And so they're making an X where they crisscross. They're making an
Wow.
X across the country. And as I looked at that, I got this insight. that the end of the old ways. The United States is the old ways, the purging of the old guard, I guess you could say, and the the downfall of the old guard, making way for the new, and also the the eclipse now in 2024 is moving across 7 towns or municipalities or towns called Nineveh, which is
Mm-hmm.
the Bible name of a town. And I think 3 of them have the apex, but the other 4, it actually crosses around there. They don't have the full eclipse, which is still a big deal of that town named Nineveh. And I looked up what Nineveh actually in the Bible, in the Christian Bible, what Nineveh represents, and I saw some of it in it, or the significance of it. And there were some passages about Nineveh being a city or town of corruption and debauchery and that kind of thing. And so, yeah,
Wow.
so that it needed to fall. I don't. Excuse me if I am not. Let me see. I think I pulled it up here. I pull it up on the. I can see here.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So the Jesus mentioned the Ninevites from Nineveh and their repentance, contrasting that response to the unbelief of the Pharisees and teachers of
Mm-hmm.
the law. This is in Matthew. Rejecting Christ has no. The people of Nineveh will also stand up against this generation on Judgment Day and condemn it, for they repented for their sins at the preaching of Jonah. And now someone greater than Jonah is here, but you refuse to repent. So it's basically about arrogance,
Mm-hmm.
be, being far greater than the prophet Jonah. Jesus had shown himself to the Messiah, to be the Messiah, but the Jewish people still refused to believe in him or repent of their sin. The Ninevites have responded to God's message delivered by a lesser man, and here was God's message delivered by a son of God himself. So it's though Nineveh escaped destruction during the time of Jonah, a later generation still had to face a reckoning. So it's basically about Nineveh's destruction because it was a place where there was a lot of sin, what we call,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, mhm. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Very interesting.
That
Very
that
interesting.
yeah. Mhm.
And it's crisscrossing that town.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
these 7 towns are in the path of the eclipse. Of these towns named Nineveh. 3 of them are where the apex is. Will have the
Mm-hmm.
total, and
Mm-hmm.
the other 4 will have some of it, and they're in an area, in a similar area. The other 4 will have some of the eclipse, will have the effects of some of the eclipse, but not the apex of it. And three towns still is a lot named Nineveh.
Wow. Wow.
So I found that was pretty interesting and prophetic for what's going on in the world. And the ancients knew all this. They were able to read the cycles
Yes.
and
Yes.
see with
And
the
even,
planetary movement.
yeah, and even in the Indian, you can say scriptures, it is the same thing that you said,
Mm,
right? That
hmm.
there will be times where these kind of eclipse will occur on the planet, and it is actually the darkness and the light that will integrate, and there's where your ego and your arrogance will, they're going to correct it, and it will be replaced with goodwill and kindness and compassion and love for each other. So I think it's in every culture, it's in all the scriptures around the world. They
Yeah,
just say the same thing, they just word it differently.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, in India also, during the solar eclipse, it is we are not like, it's not visible here. We are not viewing it, but still there are so many things around the solar eclipse. It's like an introspection. uh, we are told to do lot of mantra chanting. We do some very deep cleaning of our homes, of our offices. We really don't go out during the solar eclipse because we are supposed to, sit down with ourselves and do the
Mm-hmm.
introspection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the time where we have to work on our egos and work on being arrogant, work on being, you know, too, I would say, not so compassionate behavior, and work on ourselves. So we view it like that. But yes, I also believe that solar eclipse is this very, very strong energy. If you just look within, it's going to work like wonders for everybody.
Yeah.
Spiritually, it has a very different significance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank
yeah,
you. That's
yeah.
beautiful because this is a huge portal. And so, what we
Hmm.
focus on, especially during the apex and during the time around the eclipse and the energies that are coming in with the new moon, too, what we focus on will manifest even quicker, I guess you
Yes.
could say. So, yeah, it's important to manifest on, as usual, what we do want, what we want to create, co-create, not what we don't. Law of attraction 101. Just remember that, keep that forefront. And I love that introspection and focusing on the positive. Yeah. And so here's a comment. Hi, Robin. Good evening. So here's a comment from Paige. I am feeling exhausted for the last 3 days. Yeah, that's whoops, I didn't mean to click that. I don't doubt it. Hmm. Can you speak to that, Shradha, at all?
Yeah, that's very obvious and very common during the eclipse, right? You do feel that energy. You feel exhausted. You feel worn out. A very simple tip would be just wash your hands and legs with simple kitchen salt and water, right? And just bathe with the salt water. You don't have to really put the salt water on your hairs, but from your shoulders, you will feel better. Or you can take a coffee bath. That is very relaxing. But yeah, during the solar eclipse, uh, it is a very common thing. I'm experiencing it somehow. My, people around me are experiencing it. And you can do some meditation, some spiritual work, anything. You can just sit down, listen to some mantra, or do some mantra chanting, or do your meditation. Very simple. But yes, you will feel exhausted because the energies are very high. Energies are very, very high. So just ground yourself. This is what we in our terms call grounding. We need to do a lot of grounding during these times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, totally. And it's good that you're paying attention to that because we're going to go through dips and highs and lows during these
Yes.
shifts. Yeah, and to take care of yourself, like Shara said, to take be aware of it, take care of yourself, so you don't get beyond what the eclipse is causing and try to do too much and end up getting ill or something, like catching, where your immune system gets compromised, catching a cold or whatever. So making sure that you do take care of yourself and keep your energy, um, keep your vibration as high as possible by taking care of yourself. I love and taking a bath in Epsom salt. Salt helps
Yeah.
tremendously as well if you can. But all the time, not just during an eclipse, but all the time.
Yes. All the time. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, Also, I wanted to mention, I made some notes about, so I wouldn't forget these things. That we're going through cycles, and we're at the end of a two, three or four, wait, more cycles, 2100-year cycle, because we're repeating. We're not doing anything new. I mean, little our lives are, little things like that we are, but we're repeating cycles where we're reincarnating with the same people and same experiences. So one of them is the 2100 years, and that was during the time of Christ when he walked the planet. So we're we're coming back to full circle from that cycle. And I'm coming across more and more people who have walked the planet with Christ, and we're there. And what I understand is I watched who was David Wilcock recently, because I really love his information. He's a really deep diver into ancient prophecy and things like that, and understanding these cycles. So apparently, the United States is repeating a cycle from the Roman Empire and the fall of the Roman Empire, that era.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, and which makes sense, right? Yeah, and when Christ walked the planet, and when we were dealing with all that with the Roman Empire, and then we have the 5200 cycle, which extends out other cycles. And if you look at Atlantis, it looks like we're repeating that cycle from 10,000 years ago, which would be two 5200-year cycles. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what the 5200-year cycle would be, but these are yugas, right? And then we are at the end of a 27,000-year cycle, which is where the huge shift is supposed to happen, that we are going through. Well, we're moving, like you said, from the dark, where the dark outweighs the light, and that now we're putting everything in balance. And that's also what these eclipses are helping us with, is the toxic masculine, and doesn't mean um, anything but masculine and feminine, which is the way we're set up. As the eclipse, the moon, the feminine, considered the symbolic of the feminine. The eclipse is the masculine, that the toxic masculine is being healed, and the repressed or oppressed feminine is being healed by during those points in time in that shift, as we shift forward or upward from those energies, that portal, moving into the new portal.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it is almost the same thing as per the Hindu or the Indian mythology, you can say, right? It is also said that we are also in the same cycle, because in according to the Indian scriptures, we also keep on repeating the same cycle. It is the same thing that has been happening. The eras repeat themselves, right? So when it
Mm-hmm.
happens, there will be times when a lot of people will go for spirituality. They will be working on themselves. They will be working on, um, they will be taking the spiritual path. They will be guided, because there will be so much of, insensitive and strong energy, that people will be guided to take the divine path. And once that happens, then it will be like, the same thing, the darkness and the light that will come up,
Yeah.
and the highs and lows. So it is the same thing. And we are in the middle, according to the Indian scriptures, we are in the middle of the time uh, on the planet. And now we will go more into spirituality, more towards the divine beings, divine guidance. And then, there will be uh, a time when people will experience a lot of insights, and people will experience a lot of grounding and a lot of strong divine interventions. And it can happen in any way, in their personal lives, in their uh, all together, on the planet. And that's how it's going to, again, then the cycle will repeat itself after obviously few years. So
Right.
yeah, so almost the same thing what you're saying. It's, we are repeating the cycle. So it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense when you're able to look at things energetically and look at things that when you see, especially in our own lives, because what happens in our own lives is, a reflection. Project that out into the collective, and we're repeating things. And so, like our smaller groups, soul groups, are repeating things, or our communities, or in our families and our communities, as we move out further and further into the bigger picture, the higher mind. Uh, it makes so much sense that what we don't heal, we repeat. And so that's what we're doing, is we're healing and coming into the knowledge and into the energies of, okay, well, our we don't have that many chances
Yeah.
because we're shifting so quickly. It's kind of like do it or lose it. But I don't think there's anything we can lose. But still, the more that we understand these energies and understand these cycles and understand what we're dealing with, the easier it is, I believe, for us to shift. And going back to what Paige was saying about feeling exhausted, uh, it's what I understand, and the way Esha was taught me, that when we feel exhausted with these types of things, it's normally because we have resistance to flow, to change, to our shadows, being released and coming up. So letting go, journaling too, along with what Shradha you were saying too, and journaling and getting all that out and moving through the layers can help release the resistance to the energies that are coming in, because that's what exhausts us,
Yes.
which makes sense to me. And
Yes.
I'm gonna highlight here. Robin says, also I heard these eclipses about on the date Jesus was crucified. Oh, okay. Hmm. I haven't heard that, but I don't doubt it. I mean, I really, that's a big deal. His crucifixion was a big deal. And interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I'd have to dive into that. Maybe meditate on that too. But interesting. So, Emma, can you explain more in depth on why this makes sense? Um, okay, if you could just add a little note on what part you're referring to, and that maybe that will help. Okay, I know, because sometimes it makes sense to us, right, in our head and everything, and like somebody else that's talking about something, or like they're like, oh, it makes sense to me. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make sense to me. So I
Yes.
apologize if I sometimes I think, oh well, hey, it makes sense to everybody. The
Well,
way I
as
see it,
per
mostly when I
mhm,
was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say,
Go ahead.
I see is, our timelines, our evolution and reincarnation is cyclical, not
Yes.
linear, cyclical, right? Okay.
Yes.
And so as we move from the outer rings of source, like a sun, the outer rings are the farthest from source. As we as we fractal off from source into these down the rays, I guess you could say is how I was shown and how I see it, into the denser realms, which would be the outer rings of source. Things move slower. The energy, the frequency is slower. It's denser. Takes us a while to get through things, and the more we, and it's heavier. So the more we release heaviness, I guess you could say, and allow the light, and we choose to come down these rays into the outer rings. The more we allow, release the heaviness, which is the lower emotional pain, trauma, all those types of things, the lighter we become, the more filled with light we are, and uh, the we move inward through the rings, closer and closer to source. And that's not a one shot thing because it's so intense. We're electricity. Our bodies are filled with electricity, which is light from source. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Actually, that's how we are supposed to move, right? We have to move gradually, working on ourselves and working on our grounding, working on our spiritual journey. We all are on a spiritual journey. Some take it faster, some take it slower, but it also depends on what kind of spiritual work you have done in your past life. If we have been doing a lot of spiritual work from a previous past life, in this life we might be a little quick, to reach to the source, as you say, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if we are still on our, we started a journey, it might take us few lives, because it is not really a one life thing. It takes few
Right.
lifetimes to reach where you want to, on that spiritual path, or to reach, um, I would say, to the divine energy. It is not, like you say, it is not a one day thing. It is very intense, it is very deep, it is very, 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 overwhelming experience. And according to me, it takes lifetimes. It is not, uh, and I am sure, even Sharon, we meet people on their spiritual journeys. Some are, even in 5 years they will reach some place, and some even after 30 years are struggling, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I assume, and I have read a lot of, stuff about it, that why there is this discrepancy. It is because people are doing spiritual work from previous lifetimes. And
Mm-hmm.
when they, and there are people who have been doing it uh, from your past lives, and in this life they are in, for example, at step 10. So they start from step 10, and there are few people who are at step 3 or step 4, so they start from there. So that's the difference. So that's how it works. And it's very slow, it's very, very um, um, deep. And your understanding, and your, the way you comprehend it, and the way you work on yourself. I've also seen people who quit the spiritual work because, it becomes too much for them to handle.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah. So they don't actually integrate these energies. We all need to integrate these energies, like the solar eclipse energy, any important cosmic event energies. They're releasing a lot of energy. Instead of getting, I would say, scared and worried about it, we need to just integrate those energies. It's a beautiful experience, very, very strong energies. We can manifest, we can sit and do a lot of our inner work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Shradha. That's awesome. I believe that too, that we are at different levels when we reincarnate, and we come here to
Yeah.
heal whatever we haven't healed, whatever we haven't taken care of, clear our karmic programming, I guess you could say, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And, it's the ancients celebrated all of the, and we talked about this in our new moon and full moon videos we did. We are the ancients, right? We used to celebrate and utilize these energies, the planetary alignments, the cosmic, the cosmic orbs floating through the sky, whatever you want to call it. We used to know how to do this and utilize them and work with them, because and knew that we just knew that they affected us, and they in some way. Um, so let's bring that back. It's so important. It's so
It
important to
is.
be, yeah, to understand how the planetary alignments affect us, because we are going through these cycles. There's tons and tons and tons of papers written on it from not just woo woo people. There's scientific and astrological and astronomical information out there on how the planetary alignments do affect us, and that we are going through cycles, and that we are shifting, and the universe is always expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting, and so we are. The idea is that it's expanding more than contracting. Hopefully, that's the hope. But and one thing also that David Wilcox said, that when I was listening to his video about the eclipse, that the eclipses usually represent the fall of a king, which is interesting. Solar
Wow.
eclipses, I should say. Solar eclipses. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, uh,
That's so interesting. Yeah. In we the research that I have done, and I have also come across a lot of information. It says that solar eclipse is usually, uh, according to the Hindu mythology and Hindu scriptures, there's a story, right? There was the gods and the demons were actually churning the seawater for the um, for the few drops of nectar of immortality. And there was a demon who disguised himself as a god, and he sat in the group of gods to get that few drops of nectar. And he was recognized that he was not one of the gods. And then there are two planets which actually came, not really the two planets, but there was it in Vedic astrology, it is
mhm.
said there is a person who is half man and half snake, you know, and he was cursed. That demon was cursed, and when the that demon actually was cursed, and because of that the solar eclipse happened. The sun will be shadowed. The sun will be shadowed, and that is actually signifies the downfall of negative energy, the downfall of people unrighteousness, the downfall of if you do not follow what you should follow. So that is why it is said it is a good and the evil, the rise and the lows. It is, that is why it is said like that. That yeah, I think, I find it so interesting, Sharon, that in every culture it is the same thing.
Yes.
It is
You made
just
me think of
identical.
it's just, I know it is totally. I love it. That reminds me of the Anunnaki, the two brothers. Well, of course, the two brothers in the Bible, Cain and Abel. but also the two brothers, the Anunnaki, Enki and Enlil. Enlil was actually half reptilian and half human, snake, human.
Wow.
Yes, and according to who I follow and understand. But yeah, and Enlil was the baddie, and Key's the goodie, the the scientist, and Enlil was the general, and and wanted to keep humans as slaves and did has been, but it's the fall of Enlil. It's the fall of the reign of the bad king, I guess you could say, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the negative, the negative realm, negativity on the planet. It's coming back. We're coming back into balance. It's all about balance, right? We're used
Yeah.
to, we're all angelic beings at some level, and so we're used to light and love, and and be and I'm not going to say floating on a cloud playing a harp, but we don't experience the negativity. And so that, I guess, what we could call the fall, or the choice to move into the outer rings of source and experience what it's like to not feel happy and joyful and loving, and always being of service all the time, and self-serving, the ego, that's what we have, just to experience it, because we are infinite. It's not like we're in a hurry for that, but there's we're still in cycles, repeated cycles. So
Yeah.
it's,
You,
yeah, it's important for us to feel, to in order to go through this shift, to, but personally, I feel that I don't want it to be a tough shift. I had that 20 years ago. So I don't want to go through a tough one again, and we're moving through it now. Yeah.
yeah. And actually, it's a very simple thing, the underlying statement is that we need to follow what we are what we are taught, and we need to keep our egos, we need to keep our arrogance, we need to keep ourselves in correction with the law of universe, right?
Hmm.
And if we keep doing that, the humans will be, I seriously feel that this planet will be so much better place to live. Honestly, people like us won't be needed anymore, and that's a good deal, right?
Yeah, I want to
So
be I want to be out of work.
yes, yes, because people, yeah, we just don't follow. It's very simple things, very simple things. At times, people just, I'm sure you must be experiencing it. We get such calls and requests every day, and if from our perspective, if we look at their lives, it's a very simple thing that they need to do. I feel that people complicate things. It's a very simple deal to keep things very, very, very simple. It's people just complicate. They will unnecessary include a lot of people, unnecessary include a lot of emotions, which is not required. They will feel bad, and I don't know. They just there will be so much happening around their emotional self, and if they just clean that emotional self, I really don't think that is required. It will be a much better place to be. So
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in the illusion, right? Or and it's so real here. It feels so real, the illusion of separation. And what you said is true in the way of mastery. I keep calling it the law because I'm used to the law of one, but the way of mastery, way of the heart. Yeshua said, Jesus says, the way is simple and so easy that the mind of the world overlooks it. It
yes,
simply cannot be, it says, but that which is simple seems impossible to that which insists on complexity. The ego
See?
insists on complex problems. Yeah. And a mind that insists on conflict simply cannot accept that there is another way. And yet, what waits before you then is simply this: in the end of all of your struggles, in the end of all of your doubts, in the end of all of the moments of your unconscious confirming to the mind of the world, there yet remains the simple choice to be made, the choice to
Yes.
acknowledge the truth that has already set you free. I and my Father are one. It has been that way forever.
Wow.
Woo, I feel that.
Yes.
That has never stopped. We are one with Source, God,
Yes.
the Father, whatever we want to call the infinite intelligence. I and my Father are one. We are one. Yeah, that's the simple truth.
And
But we
it
do like
makes,
to make things complicated.
yes. We just love doing that. I feel humans just love doing that, making things complicated. It's so simple. It's so simple. And
Yeah.
we have a book called Bhagavad Gita. It is similar like Bible, right? It also states the same statement that you just read, that it is written, and it was actually narrated by Lord Krishna, and then it was written by someone, right? And he also says the same thing, that you have to make it very simple. Your life has to be simple. People, and he has made a prophecy that we humans, as the era changes, will make things complicated, right? There will be occurrences and there will be times when things will be made very, very complicated. But then you really have to make a choice, that you have to make it complicated and then make it over complicated, or you have to go ahead, step it, and make it simple. But yes, the simple does looks impossible. I don't know.
Because we're used to it. It's like, how can that be? How can it be so? How can that be so simple? There must be something. It's almost like, all right, what's the trick here? This is a test, right? It has to be complicated because we're so used to the outside world making everything look so complicated, and we're bombarded all the time with all these distractions and information, and don't trust this, don't trust that, and everything like that. I'm going to go to the comments here for a second. Okay.
Mhm.
So, Emma, let's see. Jesus was crucified on Good Friday prior to Easter. Okay. So, yeah, in, over 2,000 years, 2,100 years or whatever, almost 2,000 years, um, the solar eclipse can fall on another day. Just FYI, just that can happen. Okay. And then you were talking about what makes sense. I'm not sure what anymore. You said something about the two eclipses crossing in the biblical ties, followed by which makes sense. Oh, okay. Um, well, going back to that thought process, the crossing looked to me like an X across the country. Okay, meaning Xing out, Xing out the old guard. Just when you X something out, because when I write on my this is I was taught energetically when you write there's a lot of energy flowing from your hand onto the paper, okay? And when I don't want to, if I say I'm writing something that is negative or whatever, or not, or just write something down and then I've taken care of it, and we all do this, we exit out. Okay, I'm done with that, put an X across it. And that's how I saw when I saw that video, or that framed the country of the United States with an X across it, was that it was X'd out, meaning energetically that the old way, that's we're done with that old way. Okay. So that's what I said when I said makes sense. And with Nineveh as the trajectory of the solar eclipse from west to east and south to north, that way, going across those towns, 7 towns of Nineveh. And in the Bible, Nineveh was a town that there was a lot of debauchery and a lot of negative behavior there, and it needed to fall at some time, and it fell during the time of Christ, is how I read it, I believe. So when Christ was on the planet, so because the first prophet, it didn't fall, even though he prophesied that it needed to and that it would, but it did fall during the time of Christ, is how I understood it, understood the passages. So that makes sense to me, looking at it from a prophetic way, energetically and symbolically, that this could be the time of the negative energies being transmuted by the light of the shifting into another phase, into another realm, even into a portal. I hope I'm. It's hard to explain how I see it energetically, but I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. Thanks, AJ. Good to see you. Huge transformation is on its way. Thanks for sharing this information, of course. Thank you for being here. Humans have so much emotion. I think we confuse ourselves. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I do that daily. Okay. But totally. With that
Wow.
said, I wrote some notes on how we can prepare tomorrow. And we're in the energies of the eclipse. But if anyone wants to sit with it, I believe it is. Yeah, the apex is across the United States. Well, would it be? It would be at different times, wouldn't it? I don't know how that works. Let me look it up.
I think it's between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Tomorrow afternoon. That's right. In the
Yes.
afternoon. Okay.
Yes.
So during that time, it might be helpful to, and what I plan on doing is to make an intention, right, during that time to be in a positive space, stay centered no matter what is going on around you, no matter what's going on in the world. Don't, I would suggest not to focus on any negative news, because there's plenty of that out there. We can look out later, but during the eclipse, be in a positive frame of mind, and during that window. Okay. And always, of
Mhm.
course, but still, I mean, it doesn't mean we don't need to be aware of what's going on the planet, but don't get caught up in it, and staying centered. Um, yeah, and focus on, again, positive thoughts, what you do want to manifest, what you do, your intention. And since we are in a new moon, that's a good time to manifest energies, let go of what's getting in the way, and manifest anything new that you want to bring into your life. So this is a huge portal for that, right, Shradha?
Yes. Yes. Very, very, very important times. So, what I can suggest is we can we can do some meditations, right? We can also chant a mantra, which is Om Suryai Namaha, and this is a sun mantra dedicated to
Okay.
the sun god, right? Surya is like sun. That's a Hindi name of sun, right? So you can actually pray to the sun god, because the sun gets uh, gets shadowed by the moon. So you have to really pray to the sun god, because if you look at it, if the sun is not there, sun energy is not there, there will be no more life on our planet, right? So it is advised to pray to sun god. So there's this specific, very simple mantra, Om Suryaya Namaha. Very simple to pronounce, or you
Here,
can just,
I'll pull it up.
yeah, yeah, you can pull it up. Uh, the audience can actually write it down, and if you really cannot pronounce it, you can just keep it there and pray on that. That's it. It will help
Mm.
the grounding process. It will help the energies to, to settle, because the energy is going to be very, very intense and deep.
See if I can find it. Lost it. Um, share screen. This is StreamYard. I'm not used to using it. Sorry, guys. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let me write it down and put it in front of the screen.
Yes.
OMSURYAYE and
Yes.
NAMAH.
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully you can see that, and then we can. Whoops, there we go.
Yes. Yes. That's Om Suryaya Namaha.
And we'll chant that
Perfect.
towards the end together. Okay, we'll do that at
Yes.
the end. So if you want to write that down, we'll chant that at the end together. Okay. Hopefully that was long enough. I could put it in the comments too. All right. Why is this not working? There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, and some other things we can do also tomorrow is ask for guidance. Ask for guidance on the shift. As you're shifting, ask for guidance on how to better integrate the energies and just go with whatever you get. Journal, 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 journal. Release, release, release. Become a clear channel. Get ready for the shadows to come up because they're probably going to come up. So pay attention to your thoughts. Journal, 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 i.e., release, 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 because you're releasing what no longer serves during this portal. Because you want to go through the portal as
Yes.
clean as possible. And pay attention to your dreams. You're getting we all are getting messages in our dreams, and just remember that they are symbolic, um, not literal. Excuse me, normally. So it's important to learn to interpret your dreams. Very, very important. We are getting so many messages now in our dream time. I get so many messages, and that's really important. What do you think,
Yes.
Shradha?
Yes. Yes. Um, I do personally get a lot of uh, messages in my dreams, and most of them are quite symbolic, because they help me uh, decide the things further.
Yeah, of
I, I
course.
take my dreams seriously. Yes, yes, and
We should.
yeah. Sharon, am I saying praying to this Shiva as well? Yes, I would like to answer that. Um, yes, you can actually pray. You can pray to Lord Shiva as well. Yeah, because it will help, because he is the god of the timeline. He is the god of, uh, you know, of, mm, of all the destruction and the transformation from one era to another. So yeah, you can actually go ahead and pray to him. That's fine.
Nice. I interviewed a couple people on my channel who were in they had near death experiences or spiritual transformative experiences where they left their body and were floating in space in the cosmos, and came across Lord Shiva, were met by Lord Shiva, and
Wow,
really fascinating experiences they had. Yeah,
wow,
you'll have
that's
to
so
go.
interesting. Yeah.
So should do some little clips of those experiences because they were fascinating for sure.
They are. They are. In India there are many, but that's a different topic. But there are many temples and ancient places where you actually feel the energy. You can actually feel the god and the deity present in that area. And if you are a little bit spiritually sensitive, you can have amazing experiences. So we can talk about it later. But yes,
Sure.
it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah. I had a really amazing experience with Ganesh once where I was looking for a pendant. I was in a new age store, a crystal shop. I was looking for a pendant, and the person behind the counter says, well, what about this one? Actually, I was looking for a um, yeah, what do you call these? I can't even think of it now. Anyways, a pendant, and he handed me one on a chain with a crystal. I have it and I wear it a lot. Ganesh, a crystal of clear crystal of Ganesh, shaped like Ganesh. He handed it to me as soon as I touched it, and his fingers were still on it. This electrical current from the pendant went up my hand and up my arm, and he goes, "Whoa!" We both went, "Whoa!" Did you feel that? There was electrical current that hit both of us. I'm like, okay, I think this one's mine.
Yes, yes, you do have such experiences. And Lord Ganesh is actually son of Lord Shiva.
Mm,
So, that's you can feel that energy coming from Lord Shiva himself. Yeah, wonderful,
nice.
very nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that pendant. Yeah. So I am really looking forward to these energies tomorrow. Um, I'm going to be sitting in my yard for a lot of that time and communing with nature and getting through that portal with as much ease and grace as possible. Maybe get some channels again, some insights, some downloads. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And because I'm only on my 8th of April, it's morning
Oh,
in
that's
India.
right. That's right. So so it's today for you.
Yes, it's today for me, and we are already starting our day around the same energies. And as I told you, we do a lot of stuff around the eclipses, be it solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, and irrespective of it's not visible in India, we really do some deep cleaning. We clear our altars, our temples in the homes,
Mm,
because
hmm.
it is, I think it signifies the the good and the bad, so you have to
Hmm.
just clean those energies. So we do that. So I have to go and do that with my mother-in-law now. like after a few after a few hours, we will be doing certain things, and then some little worships, so that it helps to energies to ground themselves. So it's going to be an interesting day, a very, very, very thoughtful day. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that. So um I brought let me see if there's a I brought a couple of card decks here, so I thought I'd pull a card for tomorrow and for today. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for the Dragon Oracle,
Mm-hmm.
and see what the dragons have to tell us about the energies. Okay. Since it is the Chinese Year of the Dragon, of the Wooden Dragon. Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause it's all related, right?
Yes.
And these are called the Imperial Dragon Oracle.
Wow.
Small deck, but really nice cards. And what's funny is I bought them before I even knew it was right before the Chinese year, New Year. I'm like, well, no wonder I bought these. I didn't even know it was the year of the dragon. Well, I guess I did, but just not consciously. All right. And then after this, we'll do the chant, okay? The mantra.
Yes. Yes.
Connecting with the dragon energy to see what message they have for us today. All right. It's rebirth.
Wow.
Rebirth. Love that. Boy, I don't think I even need to read anything about that. I mean, what is it? Number 13. The number is 13. I find 13 to be my lucky number. Anyone else here?
Wow.
13 is 13 I was actually hijacked. It used to be I mean, it is a sacred number. And the traditional name for this card of rebirth is death, okay? Which would be in the tarot, the traditional name. Energy is transformation, keyword meaning rebirth. Okay. Transformation is distinctly different from transition. Transition is a movement from one place to another within the same reality, whereas transformation involves a complete change of reality. Woo, I feel that. The rebirth dragon brings the power of radical change and clears the way for this process by laying the past to rest so that a new cycle of life can begin. This is a powerful and positive card for it symbolizes complete change. Nothing will ever be the same again. Even an apparent misfortune will turn into a blessing. Everything is exactly as it needs to be. When it is time to die, one cannot escape it, but death is always followed by rebirth into a new and higher state of being, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We are dying to our old selves, right? That's pretty profound.
It is very profound. It is as if, this card has put what have we have been talking for last like 1 hour in just few lines, right? It is like that.
Right? There you go. Drop the mic. Yeah, this is an awesome deck. This is Imperial Dragon Oracle by Andy Bagott and Peter Proc Pracownik. I can't pronounce it, but they're really nice cards. Pretty spot on. I've heard that 2025 is going to be huge in transformation, huge. And
Yes,
yeah, huge.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. Um,
And it is also said that start preparing for 2025 from 2024. And there have been people who have been preparing for 2025 since I think 2022.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know some circles like that. I mean, they've been they meaning the collective. A lot of people in the collective have been telling us to prepare for a while now for whatever
Yes.
comes up. That's pretty cool. So we'll see. Yeah. So that's profound. Rebirth, transformation. All right, let's do our mantra. Shardha, do you want to lead
Yes.
us in that? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Just simply close your eyes. Take few relaxed breaths. Really don't have to be very deep breaths, just relaxed breaths. Om Suryaya Namaha. 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 Just relax. Let the energy flow, and you can open your eyes gradually. I did it 5 times just for the energy to ground. Yeah,
Nice. Beautiful. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. We're going to go ahead and close out unless anyone has any questions or comments. All righty. Good conversation. Thank you, Shradha. Looks like your town is really waking up. Your city there. Your town, your community.
Yes, yes, everyone is waking. It's almost 8 a.m.
Okay. That's prime time over here too. People are getting and going. So happy solar eclipse, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful solar eclipse time and many blessings to everyone here. Thank you, Shradha.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.